in AI. So before further ado, I think I'd just like to start playing a little video. If the cute thing will work. Technically. Yes.
Please remove the peas.
Here is the updated.
I still see peas, and my egg is gone.
Here's the new
Show me what peas looks like.
fresh green.
I don't want this in my fried rice.
Feel free to replace them with
Please remove it.
without peas and
Let's try this. Take all the green food out of the fried rice.
all green foods removed.
What are those green dots in my fried rice?
I can create another for you.
Please
Completely free of any.
take all the ingredients out of the fried rice.
Here's the plain fried
Add some carrots.
with carrots.
Keep the orange square. Take out the green circle.
Fried rice with only.
Take everything out of the fried rice.
Here's the plain
Add some onions.
with onions.
Good job, ChatGPT. Add some carrots.
With onions and carrots.
Carrots and peas are different vegetables. They don't come packaged together.
Absolutely.
Then why do I see green circles?
You sent too many messages.
So that's something that we literally all live with, right? So before we proceed to the rest of the conversation, I'd like a round robin of our colleagues here to kind of just talk through how AI has already impacted the different areas of your business. We can start with Sachin.
Hi, I'm Sachin from the Desk. I clearly don't look like my actor, so it's a bit of. I know we are all in advertising, so we advertise this, but
Embellished.
the product.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, I learned AI. Okay, so I lead business development for our global advertisers across the APAC region, which means I have the privilege of working with some of the largest brands, largest agencies across the APAC region and help them, achieve their business objectives more efficiently, more effectively using some of our technologies. And AI is a very, very large part of it. Previously, I worked at Meta and I was used to be a brand marketer at Unilever as well. So over the last couple of decades, I've seen the evolution from traditional TV marketing to where we are today. It's clearly an AI revolution happening. So just today we are talking about AI, right? AI has always been part of our platform and we continue to invest into it and really up-leveling the game and building in more solutions for marketers. But I think where I see the biggest transformation, right, is when we are talking to advertisers, there is a lot more interest and a lot more intent to do stuff in the last couple of years. And we see that it has moved now from pilots to really scale initiatives where it's making a significant difference to actual business results. We heard the Lavi's case study, which was fascinating, and there's a lot more work happening, which I'll share later in the conversation. But thrilled to be here and talk about this topic.
Thank you. So that moves into Brian, who is the advertiser.
Hello everyone, it's an honor to be here. Good morning. Thank you for having me here. So my name is Brian and I work in HP, working as a few different roles. We've in-housed a lot of our media buying in HP over the last few years, and I wear both the marketing hat but also like a media agency hat as well. So we look at AI in a couple of different ways, and I think actually, just to echo, that Lavi example was great because it shows AI is in different aspects. We may not know it or not. One thing, I would look at AI and the way we've started looking in HP is in three different ways. We use the generative when we look at the creatives and like helping build out more ideas from there. We use predictive when we look into how do we more efficiently buy our media? How do we more efficiently do things better? And the last one is how do we do it? And the last use of AI is kind of like through automation. How do we use it in our everyday life? Whether it's using Copilot to summarize a meeting, whether trying to do a text prompt of building out more information of what you're trying to build out. But we've seen AI in quite a few different places, and we'll share some examples as well in the next further questions. Thank you.
Sabi, from the creative side of things.
Hi, my name is Sabi. I run a creative agency called Manalo Mishra in Vietnam. Actually a very interesting time to be in the creative business with everything that is happening with AI. And the way we see it and we've been seeing it is that I think about 1 year back it was all about having fun with AI, doing dumb memes, and I think that has quickly moved on to doing real stuff. And what I find interesting is that in the last 20 years, if you look at what happened with the explosion of the media system, the digital media system, it really, there was a significant leapfrog that happened in terms of hyper-personalization, customer journey, targeting, all that. However, so the whole media system, the digital media system really sort of took off. But during this time, I think the creative engine room was pretty much using some of the technology which was also used for the 30-second PVC campaign system. And for a long time that was the case. I think hats off to all the creative agencies who did a great job despite that sort of handicap. Now what I see now is that with the AI tools, especially the generative AI tools that are there and which people are using in our agency and across other agencies as well, I think creative folks really have a fit-for-purpose tool now in their hands for the first time. And this is a massive game changer. It's happening. It's going to play out in many different ways, and we'll have to see where it goes. But a couple of things that happen, if I can capture, is that one, there is no limit to what you can do in terms of imagination, in terms of production realities and barriers. So creatives can really think pretty much limitless, and that leapfrog is happening. So that's a big game changer. The second is that because the creative process also has a strong production element to it, and which is extremely time consuming, very labor intensive. A lot of it is quite manual, like storyboarding, like illustrations. So now a lot of that now can be handled by the machine pretty well, and surprisingly well, and it's getting better. So creatives can go back to thinking bigger ideas, sort of really go back to thinking ideas more than getting stuck in execution. So those are the two big things which are happening, and I personally think, and as Rohit mentioned it, we don't know how it will be in 50 years or 100 years, but what I see is that there's definitely a sort of a hyper creativity phase that is going to start with all this, because all the barriers are getting removed and creativity is kind of also getting democratized. It's no longer the domain of only a big client with a big budget, because this technology is going to be with everybody. So I think that's really what's happening in the industry.
Thank you, Sabi. Pedro.
Thanks, Anita. Great comments, guys. So I'm going to allude a little bit about the video that we saw earlier. So that's a video that I normally use in some workshops that I have implemented with some marketers. And it kind of shows the difficulty on using AI when you think that it's going to be like totally perfect, and it actually isn't. There's a lot of back and forth that needs to happen, and as you can see in that example, the carrots and peas are understood by the AI as a one single thing, because it has been trained on images that always show carrots and peas as a one thing. They are actually packaged together, in real life, right? So it doesn't know, it doesn't think, right? So I have been, in my previous role, very focused on trying to see the value of integrating different ways of using AI across the journey of working on a campaign, specifically on a media campaign. There's a lot of work that has been done on implementing AI towards creative and production capabilities.
but not a lot specifically about media strategy and media planning. So how do we use, for example, generative AI to understand, the briefing better, to improve the briefing, to have the agencies come up with a reaction to the brief faster than they used to be. Like normally, when an agency is briefed, from a brand, there is a time in weeks that it takes for the agency to come back with something, right? But if you go to a consultant, they may do it faster because they are very used to managing a lot of information. So we started using AI to come back within days, within next day, with a reaction to a brief. So using generative AI for that, it's very good by helping the agency process a lot of information, a lot of reports, a lot of consumer data that would have taken a lot of time to process and understand. With the generative AI, you can easily do that and get to a result faster. So that's one thing. So obviously, we are also using generative AI not to produce creatives, because that's the role of Sabi here, but to visualize, what could be, how could it look, right? And then, we've also been using, obviously, to implement media, predictive forms of AI, like, the work that we do used to do with the Trade Desk, or, platforms like that. And also analytical AI purposes, which is, how do you use AI to report, let's say, on campaigns and make that reporting more intelligent? Like, for example, instead of going into a dashboard, then have to see, graphs and screens and play around with different variables and metrics. How can we make the AI to actually tell you what you need to know, right? So we started making these, chatbots that would understand the data behind, and instead of showing a graph, having the possibility of showing a graph, instead of just showing that, it could just answer with what the marketer wants to know. Like, I want to know how many campaigns for this brand in this market in 2023 were not funded properly, and then have that, just an example, have that be the answer, right? So that kind of thing is more useful and gets to decision making faster through the use of AI, which would have taken more time, and the let's say current form of reporting is not fit for purpose in that sense. So that's the way we're using it across.
Thank you, Pedro. Over to you, Somit.
Yes, that's great, Pedro. And hi, everyone. So I'm Somit. I'm working with RMIT University, and I'm looking after the advertising courses. And I myself come from the advertising industry. I worked there for many years in the creatives, and then I moved to education. And being in education, I'm constantly looking for what is the current things that our students need to know to adapt, because they are the future leaders, they are the future marketers that are going to be coming and joining your organization. So as an institution, like if you take an example, RMIT has actually been very open about AI. We really encourage our students to use AI in all across the university. We have also our own platform called VAL, which use ChatGPT-4, which students can use safely within our RMIT community. They are using it for free, staff is using it for free. So we are giving them a lot of tools which they can use. We are also, me and my team, we constantly try to provide different kinds of workshops, invite a lot of people from industry, from advertising industry, media industry, brands, to come and constantly speak about what is happening. They really need to know, because they need to get inspirations and look at a lot of good examples. And that cannot happen if I myself, who is an educator, or my team members are not having an open mind. So we constantly have a lot of discussions with my team members, and we keep a very open mind in this case. Another way that we use is that we have a lot of assessments that our students are using, we always give them real life client briefs where we want them to use AI in different categories. Like for example, I'll give an example. There is one program that we teach in first semester course called Making Media, where students have to choose a topic and create and write and record and edit a podcast, 10-minute podcast. So, when I've been running that course teaching it in the past 5 years, and last year I found that there is this really interesting Adobe podcast AI which really helps in cleaning up the sound, and it's really makes it look much better and sound much better. So I learned it myself, and then I started to implement it in with my students. So what I'm trying to say is that as when you're an educator, when your responsibility is to help the talent to get the right skill sets, which is very important aspect that we are kind of discussing, and Rohit also kind of pointed that out. It's very important for educators to keep a very open mind, because this is our responsibility to know and keep a positive mindset. Yeah.
Thank you. And actually that segues quite well into what Rohit also brought up in the morning, our CEO, on our content libraries, right, of where you can see various reports, etc. And our State of AI report brings this up. So when you talk about adoption, right, and why not many people have adopted, so we're looking at roughly approximately 73 to 75% in various stages of either experimentation or partial adoption. One of the largest obstacles that they're talking about is skills and training, right? The other, of course, is cost, and cost is always a problem across everything that we have to talk about. So I would say that about 67% are saying that skills and training is the bigger issue. So keeping that in mind, guys, we've discussed this a lot over the last couple of days. So in your opinion, right, what are the most significant innovations in AI, right, that has been driven within your individual areas? So maybe we'll start again with Sachin, if you don't mind.
So we have solutions across the marketing funnel, but I don't want to talk concept and theory here, right? We're all practitioners. So I picked 3 examples of real life work where there was clear marketing objectives shared with us, and AI was brought to play to solve it in a simple way. Right? So I'll just talk about that. And this chart has been up there for a while, so finally I'll talk about it. So this is Volvo in ANZ, and Volvo has a corporate objective around sustainability, and they wanted to really live it out by not only having their advertising content focused on sustainability, but they also wanted to air it in environments and engage consumers in environments which are associated with sustainability or positive content. Right? So they wanted to create this goodwill for the brand by landing in the right contextual environments. Now on the open internet, it's a very difficult task to do because there are thousands of publishers and streaming platforms, etc. So we built out a custom AI solution for them where we picked up a multitude of signals on all the pages, all the inventory that they wanted to buy, and we stack ranked them on an index, and we landed their ads only on places which were highly associated with these things they wanted to drive. Not only did it help them achieve a corporate objective, but when you look at the marketing results, it really helped them drive brand salience and brand associations. And earlier they used to use only social and search, and what we saw in the results there, they got 5x the uplift when they used this strategy in combination with search and social. So that's one example. There's another example. This is Magnum from Europe. They were launching a new variant, and it's a premium variant, so they wanted to create a loyalty scheme around it. So some kind of a club where they wanted people to enroll. Usually enrollment in these kind of things is pretty low. So we work with them to understand who their most loyal consumers are based on their first party data, their data around past converters and people who engage with their website. And we have a tool called the Audience Predictor. You all have heard about lookalike audiences. This is kind of conceptually lookalike audiences, but I would say lookalike audiences on steroids. This is much more sophisticated. So we were able to, with the help of this, identify audiences at scale who would engage with the brand and who would enroll. And we targeted them. And again, you see the result, they got multiple X, the sort of level of enrollment in that campaign. And the last example, that's really my favorite one because this is beautiful integration of business with advertising, right? Full backend, end-to-end. So this is an airline called Eurowings. This is a subsidiary of Lufthansa, so it's like the Scoot of Europe. And basically, they advertise certain flight routes, right? Because they want to promote, sell tickets for those routes.
Yeah.
Now, the reality or the challenge of their business is that certain routes are very underutilized. They are not selling much tickets. Seats are going unfilled, whereas some are relatively easily filled. And this changes minute by minute dynamically the way online bookings happen today, right? And they wanted their advertising to be in sync with that because they wanted to invest where they want to fill seats, and they also in the way that they wanted to bid. They were willing to bid higher prices for ads which will sell unfilled flights versus flights which are already going full. So we managed to integrate all of their sales systems through APIs into our UI and use that data to optimize which ad could go in and at what price they are going to bid it at. And that helped them get 20% higher bookings and a lower cost per sale. So all these are examples where there was a significant business challenge that was shared with us, and then we collaborated with the agency, with the client to really work out a solution that was deeply integrated. And that's the way we encourage our advertisers to work with us. Don't ask us, what's the new AI thing you have? Because then we'll give you a shiny new toy which may mean nothing for your business. But tell us, this is what I need a solution for, and we'll bring the right solutions to play, and I will encourage you to engage like this with all your partners, not just us.
Thank you for that. Ryan?
Yeah, actually, to build on what Sachin was saying is that for us, we may not know this or not, we already use AI in a lot of the different things that we already do. Something like predictive media buying model, we could have called it algorithms, machine learning, and different ways as it evolved, trying to understand what's underneath the hood and trying to understand what's going on there helps us develop it further. One thing I want to build off is actually that predictive audience example. So if we work with partners such as like Trade Desk, in our example we use LinkedIn, where we built out a very specific audience. We want B2B users who are IT decision makers who are also ready for a sale. How do I find that person on the open web? Or how do I find lookalikes or something that's similar to that inside the audiences, inside the platforms I already have? We use a seed audience, basically our definition, and then we work with their data science teams, the product teams, and the different people inside organizations that are really empowering AI, and use that and build from there. I don't have a slide, but from what we're seeing in terms of our media spends and our cost per action and our cost per click, we are seeing like a significant difference in terms of like our cost of media, like a CPA or a CPM. We're seeing a 20% 20 to 30% decrease in that cost, and that's through the help of using predictive audiences, but also making sure that we are actually adding value by using it as a start. As Rohit mentioned, we have to teach it for it to be using, to be usable. Another example I also have is also leveraging different partners. We work with Google as well, for example, similar with Trade Desk and similar with other partners. We work with their automated buying. How do we automate the buying placements? How do we look through this? And in the initial view, sure, the numbers look great. CPMs are down, cost, more impressions, more clicks, more everything. But we needed to really understand what's inside and try to provide ways that we can actually provide guardrails or provide training it to make sure that it works for us. We looked through it, it looked great. It highlighted on our MKA models, on our MMM models, every model that we have said it did okay. But when we looked at it, we found that AI goes for whatever we tell it to. If an action is a click, an action is something where people land on the page, it will automatically go through that one. But when we looked at the type of inventory we're buying, we started questioning, is this where we want our brand to be seen? We see a lot of mobile ads, maybe some invalid traffic. And we question ourselves like, yes, it's great in all these media metrics, but is this the premium environment where we want to show our ads? That led us into a discovery phase of bringing in more partners, validation partners, people that will actually look at where we're buying ads and placement. And then we fed that back to the different teams working with the product side, saying, for us to continue to do this, we need to put the proper guardrails, the proper techniques, and the proper ways that we're showing on where we want to be in. I guess my point here is, it's already around you. You may not know it's already there, but it's leveraging the partners that we currently have to kind of build out more and more of these examples.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man. As I mentioned in the creative world, it's moved on from the meme spinning, that sort of phase, which is also exciting to real work. And right now, I see our teams using it all the way from using a lot of image, using it for video, using it for songs. So a lot of generative AI is being used across different platforms, from from Copilot to ChatGPT to Midjourney to Suno for music and all that. And the good news is that I see that there is a lot of competition between these platforms. They are adapting very quickly. There is a lot of one-upmanship which is happening, which is good. And I see the application areas in a creative agency all the way from research. So it's going in from the pre-campaign building research, which is there are some really great tools, very quick, to concepting, initial concepting, which is always tough when you didn't have this sort of high-speed technology in hand, to selling the creative. I mean, we had a case which probably I will cover in a bit, where it was a tactical, it was not a massive launch, it was a tactical new product, sort of a new news introduction in the market for a male grooming brand, pretty major male grooming brand in the market. The new news that was there in the product meant that you had to tell the sort of storytelling had to be at a certain different level. It had to talk about, it was about a fragrance, and it had to have, visual imagery around rainforest, a big waterfall, and a guy sort of running through the forest and all that. Now, no way could we have, with the time and limitations, all that was there, no way the team could have done it conventionally, absolutely. So we had to, if we did, we would have just settled for something compromised. But this is where I think the team took a leap together with the client. It was fairly experimental. It really worked out really well. So it's built a lot of confidence for us to really do the entire campaign build, from concepting it, from selling in the creative, visualizing it, and then taking it into production all the way, storyboarding it all the way right to the end, including the production. We used a bunch of technologies. You want to go this slides? Okay. So this is for X-Men, and they were launching 2 new fragrances, which are a big brand in Vietnam. So I see that that's really already beginning to happen, which is good, and this is actually pushing the boundaries, because now creatives is thinking that, hey, I'm not limited by what I can produce, what I could have done conventionally, because they are thinking, they're sort of going beyond the 30-second TVC production or campaign processes, and using very different processes now, so which is really exciting. And this is work in progress. We're doing a bunch of things, which probably by the time the next conference there, we could sort of talk about, and I'm sure every agency is doing this. We have one case here, which is what I talked about, and that's really what is happening. So people have taken to it, people are using it across, not just for creative, but pre-creative, post-creative, production, and all the way to the sort of delivery. So that's really interesting.
Thank you, Sally. And actually, one of our partners here, Pixel ML, right? So they mentioned Runway just now, and that's some of the tech that you're using for this. So I think without further ado, I think I'll just play the video so people can see the outcome of this.
The images that we saw.
Yêu cầu X-Men Amazon Hunt mới. Chiếc hương mút đất lấy cảm hứng từ thiên nhiên kỳ vĩ, tạo nên nét hương cổ phong trần, khơi dậy khát khao chinh phục trải nghiệm mới khi có ở nhà ông đích thực. X-Men mới phiêu hương mút đất lưu dấu trải nghiệm.
So very quick work. It was done very quickly. It's been very successful in the marketplace, and this has also given us a lot of experience. And this is a great collaboration with the client teams for them to also take the lead together with the agency to be doing such a thing. So yeah, I think this has been a great experience, and like I said, a couple of other things which are in play as well. So yeah.
Thank you, Sally. Pedro and Sumit.
All right, we're good for that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So one of the innovations that I've seen lately that I think is very important to mention is the building of the infrastructure that is needed to enable all of this work that will be demanded by the AI, right? There's a lot of work that is happening in a lot of the media groups right now to build very specific models to house everything that has to do with a brand, for example. So let's say a brand model that would be, let's say, a global model that would be trained in everything that has to do with that brand, guidelines, tone of voice, colors, the whole DNA of a brand into one model. In that way, even like 3D packs of the product, everything, being trained into that model in order to have a model that can output right branded results, right? Instead of struggling with that model to give you the right result, is already trained on that, so it will never go outside of that realm, right? So that's very big, and it will facilitate a lot of the work, and it will be replicated across all the brands across all markets. So that's something that is being worked, in parallel, let's say, in most media groups right now. At the same time, you'll have models for the channels, right? So, you will have models that will act as a specialist for each channel. Like, for example, recently we built, not in a very sophisticated way, a little bit manually, by using ChatGPT agents, TikTok specialist, right? There's a TikTok strategy specialist. So you could train it on all the playbooks that you have for, let's say, TikTok strategy, just to give an example of a channel. And then it would, just by knowing, the market, the target, the objective, and the brand, output immediately a TikTok strategy, right? For example, influencer, a specialist agent, right? Or model. So, for example, we also did a lot of experiments by using the list of influencers and merging that by the AI with the objectives of the campaign, and then having the specialist identify a list of influencers that could be, let's say, selected for a specific campaign. This work takes ages, in real life. This is not how it's done. It may not be the way that it will be done, but it allows the agency to go back very quickly with a strategy that includes an influencer strategy, right? At least I have a first step that I can start to bounce off a client. So in that way, that's also very big innovation and facilitates the faster iterations of the work. And at the same fashion, you will have also audience models that will be specialists in all of the audiences, helping you with segmentation, targeting, insights, out of consumer reports, and a lot of the consumer information, demographics and all that for a specific market. So instead of just going through thousands of reports, you will have now audience model that will help you with that. And in the background, as Brian was saying, you will always have these predictive models. They've been there for a long time. We used to call them machine learning, that are always helping for the campaigns to be optimized, whether through automation or through machine learning, or now we call a lot of that AI. But those models will be there to always be helping the campaign implementation to be optimized, in a way that human beings will never be able to achieve. So I think that combination of these big models and the way that they will be replicated and help to faster, deploy across many campaigns, many markets, and many brands will be a huge game changer moving forward.
Great. I know. So I'm going to take over from what Sabi was saying. That your agency is already using so many AI tools, and I think I have a couple of my students also working in an agency. The good thing is that what we do in the professional setup, our students are doing in our education. So like I said, we give real life feeds. So my students are also using Midjourney, ALC, Adobe Firefly, Suno, and we constantly we constantly want to see a lot of good case studies. That's why we want really good partners, because it's also the responsibility of the industry to come and share the knowledge of what is happening. So one more thing that I want to kind of add is which is important in this context, because we are in Vietnam, and the Vietnamese government has also created a national AI strategy. So if there is a barrier for people here, there is a national AI strategy which is they are creating a lot of robust laws so that it can help a lot of brands and general life to accept AI and to use it for the betterment of everybody. So right now, Vietnam is ranked 39 out of 194 countries. Yes.
Thank you guys. So in the interest of time, because we've overrun, right, I'm just going to play Sonic's video, because this is Future Today, literally, and we'll end with that. And in 10 seconds, if you guys can just tell me AI and human competition, collaboration, 10 seconds, and Sonic, you can just talk through your video for 10 seconds and we'll play.
Yes, sir? Okay. So this is basically what our students have done. This is for Future Alliance, France Future Alliance competition. And this team of students had used different like Suno AI and ChatGPT to kind of create this case study video for a brief set by Spotify, where the Spotify wanted to kind of use technology to connect with the audience. So this is what our students have kind of thought of and have done. So I wanted to play this video.
AI, humans, competition, collaboration, quick seconds, and then
So very quickly,
that will people in lunch.
yes, AI plus human is the new dream team. It's a collaboration work. It's not one or the other. It's
10
both.
seconds.
Like the dream team.
Single line, enhanced creativity through collaboration. I think that's really how I'm seeing it. And if I may quickly use the ALC terminology, AI is like a visualizer. The ALC team, the creative is still the creative director. So that combination, it's a great visualizer. It's a super cool visualizer, but it's not a creative director. So that combination is critical to take it to the next level.
Let's see if our AI is working on the stage. 10 seconds and less. 3 words.
We become AI evaluators
Thank
and
you.
just practitioners.
I would say invest in AI systems that enhance your intelligence. Not in black box.
If you tap now to watch a short video,
What's even better than having millions of songs at your fingertips for free?
all.
Yeah, the music is so entertaining us right now. Thank you so much, our speaker. And please hold back on the stage for very successful panel and even very amazing information. Thank you so much, and Ms. Sarita, we happen to deliver the gift to all the speakers.